On this week's episode of Destination Linux, we're going to be talking about our favorite tech of 2023. And this is going to be basically a gift guide for the holidays. So if you are looking to get someone a gift, and I mean someone else a gift, don't be selfish, share the wealth, or gifts in this case, I suppose. You can want to check out this episode for sure because we have a lot to go through. So welcome to episode 350 of Destination Linux, your favorite video podcast. My name is Michael.
I'm Jill.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're also going to be covering EFF's proposal for comprehensive privacy laws. Does it go too far or not far enough? Now let's get this show on the road toward Destination Linux.
So our community feedback comes from someone. I forgot their name. It's silly. It doesn't matter. Let's get into what their feedback was. Love Jill, like Michael, and there's another fellow. Name escapes me just now.
Oh, okay. So I see what you did there.
Here's an odd request for you. Can I ask you to give a little shout out? No, you can't. Next. All right, let's go into the main segment.
That was an interesting piece of feedback.
Yeah, there it is. The answer is no, whoever you're asking. Let's see what he's asking. Can I ask you to give a little shout out to the team at Full Circle Magazine? This is a unofficial Ubuntu magazine, by the way. Full Circle Magazine in December, they're going to release their 200th issue of their magazine. They've been pushing out an issue each month since June of 2007. And for an all-volunteer crew to reach such a milestone is, I think, worthy of note. And no, I'm not associated with them in any way other than as a reader. That's surprising. I'm shocked you can read, honestly. So that's news. Thanks, team. Appreciate it. And should the question ever arise, the correct answer is muffins. Of course, you would say that.
Michael.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I agree.
And apart from loving Jill, liking Michael, and still not being able to recall the other bloke's name.
Just liking?
Yeah, right? Like, they're just throwing a lot of heat, I feel like. A lot of heat. I'm feeling burning heat right now. And apart from loving Jill, liking Michael, and still not being able to recall the other bloke's name, I really enjoy the video version of your show. I watched several DL 1.0, missed a few, then got back into it early in DL 4.0 and have been a regular ever since. Do we have versions numbers of our show?
That's what's great is that I knew you had no idea because I created this like versioning history system based on when the eras of when hosts were here. So like when a host leaves, it's a new era, a new version. Gotcha. And then that when we added a new host or something like that, we have I think we're on 8.0 right now.
By the way, the person you forgot is the longest lasting host on this entire show. I've done more episodes.
Yes.
And have been involved with DL longer than anyone else, including the originals. So, first of all, Tommy, it would have taken you all of 10 seconds to research my name. Hey, I'm not surprised.
Is the guy's name Tommy? Is that what you said?
I don't know. Who knows? I forgot.
Oh, boy.
I forgot. I'm not surprised since you prefer muffins over cupcakes. And, your whole email reads how to say I wear Crocs without saying I wear Crocs. That's all I'm going to say for the rest of it. But it is an awesome milestone, the Full Circle Magazine. Really proud of them. Really glad Tommy brought that up to us because it's not easy, truly, to start a project and stick with it that long. Like starting a project is one thing. Hey, I'm going to start a blog, I'm going to start a podcast and all that. Michael and I have kind of dealt with this too. There's a lot of people who are super eager to start a podcast, but once you start having to do episode after episode, once your initial 5 ideas are gone, it starts to become really, really difficult to keep that work up. And then you have people coming and going and life changes happen. And so that's happened to us multiple times where people's lives have changed and they can't no longer host with us. And, then we have to kind of change the format of the show. And there's a lot of things and a lot of people throw in the towel when it gets tough. But Full Circle Magazine obviously has stuck in there. They do some great writing. Really proud of that team there. And since 2007, amazing milestone.
Yeah,
so if
awesome.
you don't know about them, go check out fullcirclemagazine.org.
Yeah, I've actually been enjoying reading Full Circle over the years, these many years, actually. I remember it from years ago. And I actually regularly listen to the Full Circle Weekly News podcast on Spotify because it's just a nice little
Yeah.
10-minute quickie on the Linux news of the week. It's really nice.
Nice. Very cool.
And thank you, Tommy, or should I say, I'm not sure. Michael thinks it might be Bruce for writing in.
I mean, it's
I
Bruce.
refuse to put it in the email.
Thank you, Bruce, for sending in your
Bruce?
feedback.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for your kind words, Bruce. I know your name.
yeah, we appreciate it, Sam. And if you want to send in your feedback, you can ask the community a question. You can ask us a question. You can leave your comments at tuxdigital.com/contact. And it's Jill, Michael, and Ryan in case you have a goldfish brain. Like Bob.
Like Bob. Yep. Oh, that's a good idea to have them submit a question for the community question of the week. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do that. I like that.
That's cool.
Do it.
Chris, do that.
Oh, that's good. This episode is brought to you by NameCheap. Now, NameCheap is where we go to get all of our domains. And if you know anything about Michael, who's responsible for our domains, there's a lot of them. There's like a lot. And NameCheap is a fantastic place to go and get the domains you need to start your new business and start it cheaply. You can get URLs, you can do self-hosting, you can have WordPress set up for you, or you can just get the domain itself and set all that stuff up elsewhere. They have all kinds of options, whether you're a blogger, small business owner, you have big dreams on the internet. Well, Namecheap is the place to check out. So head to destinationlinux.net/Namecheap to get started and check out all the options that you have for starting your next big business or even small business or blog or whatever it is. It's all there.
Whether you have a big idea or the next big business, the price is not big at Namecheap.
All right, so now for something fun to do here. I wanted to do a holiday.
All the episodes are fun. What are you talking about?
Well, this is going to be super
Aw.
duper
fun. Okay.
Duper,
Gotcha.
extra duper.
That's
Two
different.
dupers.
That's better. Okay.
Super duper fun is a holiday gift giving guide. Because look, let's be honest. Sometimes they're really bad gift givers in your circle of friends and family members. Michael's like in my circle of bad gift givers. He's a terrible gift giver, mainly because he never has given me a gift. So that's one way.
That's true. And also your assessment of based on that is also true. However, you've never given me a gift either, so that
That's
makes
not
you
true.
terrible.
I gave you a Mr.
No. Giving gifts that are trolling just to mess with me, not even on a holiday, just to troll me. He gave me a potato head because he called me a potato one time, and all of a sudden I got a potato head. Like
you were a potato in a video game. You were terrible at the video game, so I called you.
But I wasn't
potato
actually terrible at the game. I was good at the game.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
About
I mean,
that. I don't remember what game it was.
relatively speaking, you were playing too, so I was good at the game.
Yeah, that's true. Was it CS:GO? Probably was CS:GO because
we were both terrible at that game.
Hilariously bad at CS:GO. In any case, the point is, you can have a bad gift giver in your circle.
Oh, that's what it was. It was us shooting things. You're like, "What are you shooting? A potato?"
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
But we're going to help you out. So this is the episode you want your spouse, your friends, whoever to listen to so they can get you a really good gift. Because this is all stuff that we've personally used and bought. Now, I did this on my own channel. I have a video out there on the Das Geek channel where I talk about all my favorite tech gear of the year. But it's going to be way more fun to do it with friends here, with Jill and Michael, to add in their favorite tech gear of 2023 as well. And so let's kick it off. Let's do things the right way by talking about one of my favorite purchases this year that I've made. It was one of those surprise purchases too, because it wasn't something that I expected to be as good as the thing it was replacing. So y'all know I went to the Fairphone 4, but prior to that, I had Apple Watch and an Apple iPhone. And so I was in the Apple ecosystem. But now I needed a watch. Exactly. They could track my fitness. They could track my heart rate, do an EKG, do all of those things because health is a really important thing to me, especially as I get older, right? I don't want to just randomly realize I have heart rhythmic issues and all that type of stuff. And this technology, these fitness trackers have saved people's lives. Multiple stories out there about saving people's lives and how important they could be. So,
of course,
how good are you going to find something outside the Apple Watch? Because honestly, it sets the bar. I mean,
pretty good.
It's pretty darn good. And so I know people hate hearing that, but it's good. But I found one. That I actually like even better. I think
Tell us what it is already.
Fine. It's a Garmin Venue. So this is the Garmin Venue 3.
There we go.
There you go. Was I burying the lead, Michael?
You were burying it quite a bit, yes.
All right.
You buried it and then put a ton of dirt on it and then decided, you know what? I need to put some concrete on there.
And then stepped on it with some Crocs and then stamped it down. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and it created that little
the Croc stamp of approval.
Croc pattern over top of the dirt. It's my workout partner, my fitness tracker, and my I'm almost late for a meeting notifier. It really is like my personal assistant. I feel as naked leaving home without this watch as I do leaving my phone at home. Like it's become that important to me. Not only does it track my fitness, but it auto tracks what muscle groups I'm working with fairly good accuracy based on the motions that I'm doing, whether I'm benching, crunches, squats, those type of things. So it's just got a lot of great technology in it, plus all of the heart tracking, monitoring, sleep tracking, and a battery that makes Apple jealous. The battery life is days, up to 12 days of battery life versus, an Apple Watch. You'd be lucky to get through the day.
Yeah.
A full day on an Apple Watch. Maybe one day if you're better. So this is an example.
Okay, you could lower the percentages and like the display and make it like barely visible and it could probably last the whole day.
Probably, maybe, sort of, kind of.
Maybe.
So that's one of my favorite tech purchases. I had a Garmin before. I didn't think it would be, and it wasn't as good as the Apple Watch, but it was good. But the Venue 3 is their next level AMOLED touchscreen, and it is absolutely one of my favorite pieces of tech.
I had a Garmin watch before as well, and you're convincing me to get another one. Because the other one was okay, but it wasn't amazing. It was just good enough.
That's right. Yeah, they were just okay. And their screens were so dim and things, you'd get a lot of days out of it, but the screen wasn't even bright or, so you of course you're getting a lot of days out of it. It's practically e-ink. But this one, full color, AMOLED, just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. I'm excited to check this out and see if I can get I don't know, borrow yours,
How dare you? How dare you? Imagine it would be so confused during the workouts. It'd be like, why is the weight so different?
What happened to your
What is happening? Did you get injured? Are you injured? Would come across the screen. All right, Jill, what do you got? What was one of your hardware picks?
Oh, I set myself up for that.
So this is something I showed off about a month ago. It is my Intel Arc A770 GPU with 16 gigabytes of GPU
I'm jealous
RAM.
of it. I'm not even gonna lie.
We just got a Jill's treasure hunt, just sneaky inside of this episode.
Just snuck one in.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I can't show you the actual card because it's in the computer I'm using for podcasting right now.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That shows you how good it is.
Yes. So, and I've just been really enjoying the performance of the Intel Arc A770 GPU, and being on Team Blue is nice. It's no longer just about AMD Team Red or NVIDIA Team Green anymore.
I love it.
Every time someone says Team Blue or Team Red, I always think of Red versus Blue.
Yeah.
The Halo series.
Oh, yeah. The
that's
series.
Halo, right? Halo?
Yeah, Halo.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, Intel just has been so fantastic about updating drivers on Linux, and its potential keeps growing and its performance keeps getting better. And you can also check out Destination Linux number 344, where I actually talk about my newly upgraded pink video gaming and podcasting rig featuring my ASRock Phantom Gaming overclocked Intel Arc A770 16 gigabytes of RAM GPU, and how it runs beautifully on Ubuntu 23.10, and it's still rocking Ubuntu 23.10.
Nice.
And you can actually pick them up at a very reasonable price, between $300 and $400, and you actually can't find a better price for a 16 gigabyte GPU.
I know a lot of people are going to say $300-$400, is a lot of money, and you're right, but not in the GPU world.
Yeah,
anymore.
not the
That
GPU.
is one of the cheapest GPUs.
Yeah, there are GPUs that are what, 1,500 or more?
1,900 now and more. Yeah, they're far above that. Like the 4090s and $1,900 to $2,300 for that GPU.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so this is an unbelievably good card. Here's the thing that impressed me with the Intel arc the most. It wasn't the powerhouse I hoped. It wasn't even the median powerhouse of being, in the middle of the crowd when it comes to AMD and NVIDIA. It started kind of toward the very bottom of an entry-level card, but they have put so much work into the drivers and software side, relentlessly releasing patches and improvements of this card week over week over week, to the point now where not just the community like us was more niche, but all kinds of people were talking about this in the PC building gaming communities about the Intel Arc. And they believed in their product. They've continued to support their product, and their fan base is growing because of it. And I love that, because it doesn't always happen with Intel. And I think they've had to eat a lot of humble pie lately.
Yeah.
And this is a really good example of like going back to your roots.
Yeah.
And
So what
Intel's
you're
doing a
saying
really
is
good job.
that they started at the bottom and now they're here.
Yeah.
They started at the bottom and now they're here. They started at the bottom and now they're in the middle still. They're not at the top. But
I just said here, so I got to
working their way up. Here is the middle. Here's the middle.
Here's the middle at this point.
Yeah.
So my pick of this, first pick I have actually, is the Raspberry Pi 5.
Good
if
one.
you can find one.
Yay! We love ours.
So the Raspberry Pi 5, I'm going to do Michael's
Yay.
treasure hunt.
Yes.
Ooh,
I'm sorry,
looky,
Michael.
looky.
That was all you.
No, you're more than welcome as well. I am
You're watching the
your,
video version.
Yeah, I'm taking
See
your
it.
series.
He's going to hold it up right now. Look at it. Look at it.
It's beautiful.
Now respect it. Now
Yes.
respect it.
All right.
Yes.
So this is very cool because it's cheap, relatively speaking, if you can find it, and if they're in stock anyway. And it is super powerful. When I first started using it, I thought the estimate of it being double the speed of the other one was going to be like kind of a marketing play, or it's like technically speaking double. This thing, I couldn't even like get to a point where it felt like it was sluggish. It did everything I needed to do. It handled everything super performant. And now, to be fair, it is running operating system that is designed for the Pi, and it's using an LXDE based system, so it's not the most robust. I didn't try to put plasma on it, which I feel like I should have now. So maybe I will
That's a
next
shame.
time.
That's really shocking, Michael.
I know, right? I was just happy with the out of the box experience, so I just kept the out of the box experience, which is very rare for me. I left the defaults, Ryan.
You're starting to be more and more like me the more we do this show.
Yeah.
I'm learning. Yeah,
It's
adopting
super
all my
creepy.
bad habits.
Yeah, super creepy. So it's very cool because it has multiple displays, like the output displays. So you could have 2 4K displays, and it's still. And I did test this. I have 2 4K displays, and it worked fine with them. And I was surprised that it was as performant as it was, and it still felt like it was a good computer. So if you can find one available, I would highly recommend getting a Raspberry Pi 5.
Can I caveat the 2 4K? Because I don't know extensive testing you did, but there's a lot of, if you're doing video playback and stuff like that in 4K, that's where it starts to fail. If you're just doing normal desktop stuff,
right,
fine. But if you're actually watching 4K content, it does start to stutter. With the 2, if you go to 1 or 2K, 2K monitors, it does great. So it's still super powerful. Nothing Michael said was wrong. I just want to caveat that 4K content can be a little tricky with that.
And I also want to point out something. You said what kind of extensive testing, and I was just going to say it's me. You can just take the word extensive off.
So Sublime Text. And
I did some testing, but not that extensive.
Yeah. Now, I ran Michael AI on mine. And if you watch my video in the review, you'll see Michael AI running in the background. And if it can run Michael AI.
Super impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. It's basically, doing everything ChatGPT can do.
Yeah. Almost.
Almost near that. All right. Next on my list is easily for me the Pixel Bud Pros. So I got to get new headphones for working out. And when I switched ecosystems as well. So I needed something that was compatible with Android there. And I know Google is a bad name to a lot of people, but they offer great music in these little Pixel Bud Pros. So, and noise cancellation. And the most important part for me is they actually stay in my ear during really intense workouts.
Wow.
And this is a problem for a lot of earbuds. Like a lot of them look cool. A lot of them sound good. A lot of them have noise cancellation and things, but they fall out your ear if you're doing anything like running, jogging, laying down on a bench, doing any type of workout. And A lot of them don't keep a really strong charge. These do all of those things. Now, they replaced my Jabra 85Ts, which Jabra is one of my favorite headphones up to this point. They are still fantastic. So if you get your hands on those for a much cheaper price, then consider picking them up. The only thing is the Jabras are a little bit bigger and heavier, and they would tend to fall a little more, although they were still very stable in the ear and had very good sound. Just a little bit too bulky. But Google Bud Pros really checked the box for me in all of those areas. So you're not going to get audiophile level sound out of that. That's not what I'm looking for. This was more of a fitness / want audio
convenience
that blocks
type of thing.
Yeah.
Convenience type of thing. Good range.
Awesome.
Always connect really fast and easily without issues. Really strong Bluetooth connection to have multiple devices connected and be able to jump back and forth between them well, which frankly has not been Android's strong point for a long time. And these ones do really well.
So that's a good point. I do want to check those out. I looked up; they're actually reasonably priced. I think it's like $120 right now. And if you have a Google One account, they'll give you an additional 10% discount.
What?
Just because.
I did not know that.
So that's cool. And if you sign up now, there's like a temporary trial sign up on Google One, so you can sign up for that, which is pretty discounted. Like it's $2.50, and then you can get the discount and then cancel it. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying it's
man, that's
anyway.
like a hack.
Yeah, a life hack right there. So it looks really cool. Some of the colors, not a fan, but the black version looks very sleek and nice. So I think that's probably the one that mostly everyone will get because it actually looks good. And the price looks reasonable. So the fact that you're saying that they're this good, I'm very tempted. But earlier we talked about Apple and how they're gross. So these are the Apple AirPods. And they're good too. But the quality of the music is not going to be like audiophile, like Ryan said. And that's going to be true for all of the Bluetooth style. Yeah. But the convenience factor is wonderful. I also love the fact that, so in my apartment building, they decided to do some air alarm drills, like fire alarm drills, where they had to test the stuff. It wasn't like you actually had to leave the building. It was just they're going to go off for a few minutes to test them and see if they work. And I had those, and this thing was loud. So the noise canceling of that was not enough. I then did this, and I had noise canceling again on top of that.
Awesome.
And
Michael.
So then you double noise canceled the cancellation. I love it.
I doubles noise canceled the alarm stuff going off. I still could hear it, but it was tolerable.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so Michael, for those who are
that's
not
another
watching,
life hack
put on
curious.
2 pairs of headphones. He put in earbuds and then put headphones on top of it for the double system. Were those Bose? I couldn't tell. If you would hold them up, I could probably name them or Sony.
Okay.
But I need to see the actual
logo
frame
to
guess here. All right, hold on. It's
Sony?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. All right, so those ear cuffs are actually throwing me right now because they look more Sennheiser or Sony in their way that they're so thin. I'm lost. What are they? Sennheisers?
What do you think, Jill?
I'm gonna say Sony's.
They are Sony's. Jill is better at guessing headphones. Right?
Dang it. I knew that thin.
Yeah, the thin. That
was the giveaway there.
Yeah.
I should have stuck with it. Sennheiser does it too on a couple of their brands.
They do.
These are actually really good because of the fact that they're pretty lightweight. And I have some other ones that are super heavy, and I hate the heaviness. But these aren't the greatest headphones I've ever used, but in terms of their higher audio quality. So if you want an audiophile and still wireless, it's pretty good to get one of these kinds of things. That's not part of my list. I just wanted to put that out there since we're talking about it.
Well, Jill, what is a part of your list?
Oh, boy. My trusty Steam Deck.
In pink, of course.
Yes.
That's what I love. I love that it's in pink.
Original Steam Deck. I use this on a daily basis. I mean, since we got them last year.
Yep.
I use it often to do my show notes for Destination Linux and test games out. We review here on the show.
How do you do the show notes on the Steam Deck?
Oh, I go to the Plasma desktop.
No, I get that part, but do you type it on the on-screen keyboard or do you type it like a Bluetooth keyboard?
I have a mouse and keyboard hooked up to it. I got it docked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Michael's
otherwise
like
I couldn't read the
individually
screen.
I was like, that
each
seems
letter.
super slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be insane. Yeah, the screen's a little too small for me to do that. Even with just a mouse, external mouse and keyboard. So I have it docked on. I have a dock in here set up with all my 3 monitors, and then I have a dock in
Nice.
another area.
Nice.
So that comes in really handy. And also, like I was saying, where every week when we do game reviews, I always test the games on the Steam Deck. So
I mean, that's important.
Yeah,
Our
very important.
audience needs to know whether it works on Steam Deck or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely, for sure, because also that means it probably works on Linux too.
Yeah.
Not always, but probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
And Valve has just done a beautiful job and
Really.
constantly doing updates, listening to the community, making the changes that need to be changed, fixing the bugs. Everything is working out of the box. It's really amazing. And you can still grab this original Steam Deck with an LCD and 256 gigabyte NVMe SSD for only $399. That's amazing because I paid quite a bit more for this.
Yeah.
When it was out.
Well, how long have they been out now? It's over a year, right?
Yeah, over a year.
Yeah, over a year.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, I mean, we paid more for it, but it was worth it in the original price.
It was still
And,
cheap then. We couldn't believe it.
now they have the OLED version
Yeah.
that you can get out there and get, which is a nicer screen. And it's tempting. Even though I have one and I don't need to, it's still tempting just to say I got the OLED version and have that
Same.
brighter
It
screen.
really is. In fact, you can get the OLED. It starts at $549 for a 512 gigabyte NVMe SSD, or you can even get an old 64 gigabyte eMMC SSD Steam Deck for $349 while supplies last, and they were still available last I looked.
Can we take a moment here, though, to talk about this? Because there has been so much competition this year trying to take Steam Deck's thunder.
Yeah.
And they have all failed
All
miserably.
failed.
They all failed. There has been people who have been messaging me like, oh, what do you think about this one? What do you think about that one? Oh, this one's really going to kill the Steam Deck and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. I mean, the spec-wise, you're absolutely right. But like what Intel's doing with ARC only, because
Yes.
Intel hasn't been known for this with anything else. I think it's a really good use case in this episode with these 2 moments of what it's like for a company to release a product that's involved deeply with their community.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference between the Steam Deck and when a Zeus comes out and drops one, or any other random big tech company drops one, Logitech, whomever. You don't have trust that if this thing is not a major blockbuster that sells 100 bajillion of them, that the company's going to do anything with it. And from the very start, Steam and Valve have supported this device, have released constant updates, have made it better and better and better, like Intel has done with the ARC, and built a fan base off of this thing. It is not the best hardware you can get portable anymore. In fact, it doesn't even have the best screen, not the best storage. But because they built a community around it, and they talk to the community and regularly engage with the community, people love it more than any of those other products.
Do the other games machines have Steam on them?
They have Steam, but they come with Windows.
Oh, I see.
So you can get Steam, you can install Steam on it, but they all boot into Windows. And I think that's another interesting thing
one of the
that made the
problems,
Steam Deck
probably.
different. Is booting into Steam OS is a different experience. It feels like the whole thing was built around this gaming, especially the way they made their operating system and the menu system and things.
It
whereas
feels
these other ones
like
is
a
a Windows
premium
thing.
product.
Integrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's integrated.
The OS feels premium. It doesn't feel like they just made Steam inside of a game console. It feels like it is supposed to be there. And I mean, of course it is. That's why they made it. But it's a very different experience because when we first had the Steam machines come out, they didn't really work. They weren't that great of an experience. And everybody was not really expecting that much. We were hoping, but to have it's very rare in any industry where a company announces something and then a ton of hype builds for a year. And the continues to hype and hype and hype to the point where people are just completely expecting it to fall on its face, but then to that product to actually meet the hype.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And the fact that it still is, even like if you get the OG version that you can still get that they lower the price on, that's still a good purchase. It's still a good product.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're making a new version that's even better is just great to see. So, and also the fact that Valve, there are people who are not fans of Valve, but they're not Linux users. I think every Linux user is a big fan of Valve.
Yes.
Because they have done so much for the platform.
Yeah.
I agree. Yep.
Absolutely.
It brought us next level. All right, Michael, what's your pick?
So my next pick, I couldn't choose. I couldn't choose.
You have to.
I couldn't choose. So I'm going to do a little bit of a cheat. I'm going to do one that's just kind of like throw it aside and say, hey, this is a thing.
All right.
So Framework laptop is really cool. I don't own one, but I did get to try one because Nate from Linux Out Loud has one, and he took it with him to a bunch of summit. So I got to play with it. It's very cool to be able to take the kind of bezel off because it's on a magnet, and it's just fun to play with. It's like a fidget toy, and also he said that yes, he fidgets with it all the time. So that's a cool thing. If you're in the market for a new laptop, or you know someone who is, and you want to gift it to them, Framework laptop. You're good to go.
Man, that'd be a good friend. Could you imagine having a friend send you a Framework?
What a wonderful
That's
gift.
You keep.
Exactly.
Yes.
Don't expect anything, Ryan. So the other thing is mechanical keyboard. It could be any mechanical keyboard. It's going to be better than
the Ducky one. It's going to be
the Ducky is a good keyboard for sure. I have a Corsair keyboard. I have a Redragon, by the way. Also, it's not Red Dragon. There's only one D. It's Redragon.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I always called it Red Dragon.
Yeah, it's 1D. So that is another option. And the Redragons are pretty reasonably priced too. So they're good keyboards. And I don't have a preference of like what specific mechanical keyboard you get. But if you've never had one, get one or give to somebody. Okay, Ducky, fine, Ryan, we get it.
Thank you, Ducky.
So there are many keyboards that are worth getting. Unless your name is Ryan, then there's only Ducky. So
there's only Ducky. There's Ducky and everything else.
The other thing I wanted to talk about, which is just a quick kind of side thing, is because when I was looking for things that I wanted to, I didn't get this because I just found out yesterday that this existed, but I want to try it. It's also expensive. It's $500, but hold on a second. It's called the Square Off Chessboard, where you have a physical keyboard that you can play remotely with people, and they can have their own physical keyboard, or they can have like a computer side and then play with you, and you have physical pieces on your keyboard that are moving around. And I just think that's kind of fun. Plus, you can also play against an AI inside of this keyboard.
So this is for chess.
Yes,
you play chess remotely with people. Like if I wanted to play you in chess, but we don't live near each other, like we really don't, then we could get these and play chess against each other.
And on a physical keyboard. Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Isn't that
I mean,
cool?
why wouldn't I just go in the because you got the physical pieces.
Because the physical keyboard, chessboard, the physical chessboard.
You have to really be in a chess to spend $500.
Yes, you have to be really into it. I just thought that this was a cool novelty thing.
It is kind of
cool. If money was no object, I would get this. It is currently an object, so I'm not going to do that. But it is really cool.
It's Michael getting closer and closer to LARPing once again.
Yep. He loves that LARP.
I do not LARP.
He LARPs every weekend, folks.
Do not LARP.
Then he
Nothing
does
against LARPing if you want, but I'm just not my thing.
LARPs.
Magic missile.
Fireball. All right.
Did you say fireball?
Yeah. And you said magic missile, so we were literally attacking each other.
We were thinking the exact same thing. Yep.
Hey, Wendy, can you actually do an animation when you're editing?
Yeah, where
this
a fireball beats a magic missile.
And a missile, me and Michael firing them at each other. Here. Yeah. Fireball.
No pressure on the effects, though. Just
yeah. It doesn't have to be good. We're not Spielberg around here. Just something.
I mean, we could be.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, I have a video out there, like I mentioned, of this. And one of my favorite things in that video is to highlight that I'm so proud of this year is the Fairphone 4 with EOS. And technically, this was a gift from Michael because they actually sent it to him and I stole it. So,
see, I do give you gifts.
I steal them from you.
Well, you didn't steal it. I sent it to you. I sent it to you.
You were just
Like,
dumb
I
enough
put-
to send it to me.
I put it in the mail
They
physically.
gifted it to you. You gifted it to me, and then
Technically, I still gifted it. Even though they gifted it to me, I still gifted it.
Oh, and Alexis
I think when you,
from Marina had said you got to send it to me next.
no, they need to just send you one, Jill.
Yeah,
They're not
I know.
taking mine.
I'm kidding.
I'm gonna have a word with them. They need to send you and Michael one at this point, because I
Yeah.
think we could convert everybody over to it.
would
Listen,
like
when
to
you
try it.
talk
Yep.
about a game changer, privacy, security, and repairability, this phone's restored a lot of my faith in mankind. Maybe I
Yay.
don't want to get off the planet if you listen to the last episode. After all, with these things, because it's a company that actually cares about doing something without compromise and giving you a really good quality product where you're not going to have to like, okay, I got this privacy phone, but I can't talk to any of my friends because I get this random app store that has nothing else that anybody else in
it's
my whole
too
circle
private.
uses. Yeah, like that. That's usually what you're dealing with privacy and security, but they found a way to make it so that you could still utilize all the apps you love, but in a very private and secure way. And the Fairphone itself, I mean, you could pull off the back cover and replace the battery. What else do I need to say? It's like, it's dope. It's dope. So those are some good gifts. Man, y'all brought some
Woohoo.
fire gifts in there too. That was awesome.
Right. I also have a secret bonus gift that Ryan doesn't even know about. And
Uh-oh.
actually, Jill and Ryan both have no idea that I'm about to do this.
Okay.
I have a special gift that it's
Okay.
actually not that expensive and anybody can get it. It doesn't even have to be a tech person. You can get it for anybody. And there are these.
You piece of junk.
There's
How
the
dare you? Do you really have Crocs? You are a failfish, sir.
So
A
for those who are
failfish.
listening to the video audio version only and not able to see it, these are not Crocs.
Oh.
These are knockoff
Knockoffs.
Crocs.
But you can still
What are
put
they called?
giblets in
They're
They're
them.
called Joybees.
Joybees.
Joyby.
I'd put
All right.
penguin gibbets in those, in the little holes.
There you go. Hey, Joybees, throw us a sponsorship. You might be our
That's
big
awesome.
product that we move on this show.
Yeah, who knows?
Are they
Yeah.
as
Don't wear
comfortable?
Crocs, but Joybees are cool.
Are they as comfortable as Crocs, or have you tried Crocs?
I've never tried Crocs before, and I don't expect any rubber shoe to be all that comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh man, so embarrassing. All right, now let's
I
move
don't
on.
wear them hardly ever, but
I mean, it
That's
doesn't. You own them. You took your money and said, "I want that. That looks good."
it's a fair point. I didn't say it looks good. I was getting them for the purpose of being able to get them wet and not care about it. That's what I
so
was
they were
getting.
for beach only. Is that what you're saying? They're beach only.
Yes, beach or pool or that sort of thing. Yeah, exactly.
That's the proper use, I feel like, of a Croc or
Yeah.
a Joyby.
Or a Joyby.
I'm a big fan of Joyby, not Crocs. Joyby's fine.
This episode of Destination Linux is sponsored by LINBIT. LINBIT has been keeping digital businesses running for over 20 years. They're the makers of open source products like DRBD, which is high availability software that has been part of the Linux kernel since 2010, and LINSTOR, industry-leading open source software-defined storage. LINBIT has an active presence in the open source community, and they collaborate with the community to help identify and build new features. LINBIT provides enterprise-grade software that runs on a variety of platforms and OSs without vendor lock-in. What that means is that you could use the software on any platform, including specific hardware that you want to use, or just off-the-shelf hardware that you get and connect it. All of this stuff can be interchanged really easily. And with DRBD and LINSTOR, you can have high-speed replicated block storage in almost any configuration, whether it's Kubernetes, Apache Cloud, or OpenNebula. There's even DRBD proxy for long-distance replication. LINBIT is run by its founders to this day, and all of its engineers and developers are in-house with offices in Europe and North America, which allows them to have global 24/7 support to complement their enterprise offerings. Visit linbit.com to learn more about the people behind LINBIT and the awesome software for block storage, duplication, and more.
All right, so let's get into. We talked about we ended with Fairphone because we're not even going to pretend we ended with Joyby.
We
at all.
ended with Joy.
We ended with Fairphone. And that brings us into privacy and security going on with EFF. EFF is a privacy-focused organization. They were at Scale. I love going to their booth at Scale.
Yes.
You can donate to this organization. They do so many incredible things for people I kind of feel like I geeked out way too much for somebody they hired to sit at the EFF booth, because it was just, like I just saw EFF and I was like geeking out over the fact it was EFF because I love the organization that much. Not that everything they do I agree with. I just love their cause. Like I love
And their
they're
mission
trying-
and everything. Yeah.
their mission. Yeah.
Which funny story. I don't think I've told you, Ryan. So after you had went and talked to the EFF guy,
Yeah.
later I went and interviewed the EFF guy for some content B-roll sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And we talked about how I told him I was from Tux Digital, and he said, "Oh, you're the guy. You're also with that other guy who came up. He was really into EFF."
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny.
He's a nice
Yeah.
guy. He's been doing the scales for years, and he always says hello to me because I'm wearing the penguin hat, and it makes him happy.
That's the way to do
And
it.
I always donate every year too at Scale.
Yeah, you have to. Like,
Yes.
I pulled out some money, put it right there, and got an awesome hat out of the deal too, because they
Yeah.
have stuff you can buy at the booth. So if you come to Scale this year with us, you can check out the EFF booth there. But what does the EFF do? They challenge patents that suppress innovation or limit online expression. They try to do social media reform and holding companies accountable for censorship. They protect internet infrastructure from being filtered by corporate interests alone, along with many, many other causes they've been involved with to help people really go against. It's a David and Goliath organization,
Mhm.
and in my opinion, and they act in the place of David there, of taking on these giant mega corporations. And they recently published a proposal for a comprehensive privacy law that they're pushing forward with to help protect the community. Now, I know there are people in the community who believe, because I've had conversations with them, that this is a zero regulation sum, like freedom of speech, freedom of enterprise, never regulate, no laws, let it all run wild, and it will correct itself. And I want to say, maybe in a Star Trek utopia, that would be the case. But in the current environment of things, where we have corporate welfare and lots of cheating going on and bribery and buying our lawmakers and all of that, that it's just not reality. Like, we need protections in the form of laws, in my opinion. But laws can go too far. So I understand people's concerns with that. But the concerns they want to address specifically is things like how social media algorithms are affecting children's mental health and the current mass accumulation of people's personal data. So they feel like this has gotten to the point where it's no longer, hey, let the companies try to regulate themselves. It's out of control, and we need to do something to try to fix that.
And also, it's insane that we have a situation where you go to these websites and they collect these data, and they have a system to remove that data because they have to for GDPR and also California's law.
Mhm.
So they have to give you an option to do it. Otherwise, it would make no sense for them to not to like specifically make it for those individuals and not in general on their tech. So they just choose to not give you the option because they don't have to. And I would love for something like this to be made to actually give us the choice to not be, having our personal data collected at all times on every website you go to and everything you ever do on the internet.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, a lot of the privacy settings you have now, where you have companies that have a setting pop up and tell you what cookies do you want to enable right away or restrict and things, is all thanks to California and EU's privacy laws. No thanks to any laws we have here. All of that's come from elsewhere, and it's benefited us, but we don't have our own laws to protect it. So technically, if they just know that the traffic's coming from the US, they don't have to do any of that stuff. They can just do whatever they want to your machine. And it's frustrating. They want to go on to how law enforcement is using data to prosecute individuals. There are many cases where, they will utilize people's security and safety as a means to remove privacy from people. And in that, they create things like geofencing, which can be very, very deceptive. So if a crime takes place in an area and you have 50 cars that are geofenced to have crossed in that area, now you're pulled into a murder investigation because they have this data that they've captured of everyone who passed by that area after something took place. And that just is extremely privacy violating, right? To know where everybody is at any time. In fact, one company recently was talking about These phone companies know who you're sleeping next to based on where your phone is sitting in the house. They know who you sleep next to at night. Like, these are things that can be very, very dangerous for companies to have in their hands. And there's no rules. There's no laws.
What do
there's
you
nothing.
mean, Ryan? Companies have been so calm and polite to all of their customers forever, and they have never done anything egregious or to
It's true.
anyone
You're
at
right,
any
Michael.
time for the sake of getting money. That does not happen.
They
Insane.
love us. What am I thinking? Yeah, NC. Exactly. They want to ban behavior-based surveillance and ad targeting. So, they have become very good. And this talks about manipulating children as well, heavily, but also adults here, where based on times of day, based on where you're at, who you're with, based on your prior behaviors, maybe they detect you're actually depressed and you're more likely to spend your money and run up credit card debt when you're more depressed. This
And
behavior-based
then they give you more ads for you to run up your bills on your credit card.
Yeah, there you go. Like, this is very dangerous stuff, and they use it in very abusive ways. It creates a lot of depression and sadness in kids and social media. Like, my kids are not going to have social media until they're like 18, I'm hoping. Probably 16, but right now I'm banking on 18. I'm
That's
hoping
awesome.
before they ever get a social media account.
Yeah.
And that
Probably
actually
good.
was advice given to me from multiple parents.
Yeah.
That they did that with their kids to keep them out of social media, because it's just that bad. The predatory.
Honestly, I feel like social media has gotten to the point where I don't want to be there either.
Yeah.
Well,
I
if it
have a
wasn't
very
for the
limited
shows.
amount of experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for the shows, yes, but I also I limit my usage of social media as much as possible to specific things and only specific times and things like that, because it's basically an endless black hole of time,
It is.
Yeah. It's true. They want to increase privacy-based social media competition by not allowing the big giant social media companies to leverage their endless personal and behavioral data to be used on its base, and limit domestic and foreign spying by limiting what apps are allowed to collect. Like, I don't know about you, but I got nothing wrong with none of that. Like, I'm all on
sounds good.
board.
Yeah.
Sign me
Sounds
up.
Me too.
Let's do it. They claim that today there are constant proposals of small steps taken, for different laws, like one little individual thing that they will go and tackle, or outright bans, like let's just ban TikTok entirely. But those either go too far or not far enough in targeting, the whole ecosystem of abuse that's kind of going
They're not
on.
trying to target fairly. They're trying to target something specific and then go either not doing anything worthwhile, or they'll do something so extreme of banning an entire, and you're bringing a company in the entire country based on whatever whim they decide it is. And now I'm not saying TikTok has good privacy. No,
Right.
not really. Their algorithm is scary, but the idea of just banning an individual app rather than putting in the effort to do what EFF is suggesting of actually creating a system and a framework where these companies have to abide by these terms, that would be great. And I would the GDPR is not perfect, but I like for our country to have something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Learn
speaking of which, not too long ago, we did an episode on the bans that Montana is proposing for TikTok. And
that's true. Yeah.
we felt that was going way too far to ban an individual app. And I think this is a good answer to that, is creating a framework of rules that everyone has to abide by.
Absolutely.
Also, banning an individual app is not effective because people
just go to another one.
Are inundated
Yeah.
with YouTube content creators and influencers and all that having sponsorship from VPNs just everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Completely nothing to do with tech of any kind, and all of a sudden, this is sponsored by VPN, and it's all the time.
It's everywhere.
So just banning a single app is not going to stop people from using that app because they all know what a VPN is. In fact, I had a family member who has never mentioned VPNs whatsoever to me just like 4 or 5 days ago, asked me, hey, what's the best VPN I should check out? So I obviously sent him to your video, Ryan. But but the idea that this is becoming so prevalent that people who are not tech at all know what that is.
Know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
So their comprehensive law then they're proposing would effectively ban behavioral-based algorithm collection, minimize processing of personal data, user rights to access any data collected, edit, or remove it. So if they collect it, you can say, hey, you got my data. I want it gone now. Take it off your system, and they have to comply. No preemption, meaning states like California or others can enact even tougher laws if they want. So this is just a base law for all states have to follow, all apps have to follow. No pay for privacy schemes and no deceptive designs. This pay for privacy scheme caught me off guard a little bit. I got to be honest. I've been one of those people who have been promoted the idea of, hey, I'm willing to pay more if you stop collecting my data. And it seemed like a really fair idea to me. When I was thinking about what EFF did here, it gave me pause because I thought, who is the most targeted, manipulated community out there constantly? Everything that passes seems to beat them down more and more and more. And that's anybody who's poor, right? Anybody who is not well off are always treated the worst. Everything always flows downhill to them. And when you look at paying for privacy, what you're doing is essentially saying, well, I have enough money to pay for privacy, but I don't care about you. You don't deserve any privacy because you don't have any money to pay that monthly fee to take your stuff off. So EFF again is right and kind of corrected.
And also
my
the kids who don't have jobs to get money.
Students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starving students going to college.
College students are one of the most heavily targeted groups for this behavioral data collection and things, in which they actually target them for, they know they don't have a lot of money. So they purposely target them for cash apps, quick cash, those type of things. And what they do is give extraordinarily terrible APRs and results at the point they know they will get these kids stuck in debt forever. And the kids
For
are
those
too
who are not
young.
financial junkies, APR means annual percentage rate, which means this is how much interest you will be paying on whatever you take a loan out. And sometimes those numbers are stupid high. I've seen some of these things at now I've never been to one of those cash checking places or anything, but I've seen like the reports of what people can do from those things. And there were some interest rates that were over like 250%.
Oh my gosh.
What? Like,
I've
it's
never
insane.
seen that. That's wild. I don't doubt it. I've just never seen it. Yeah.
There's also like financial YouTubers who do like auditing of people's credit and stuff and help them and that sort of thing. And there's been like listings of those kinds of stuff in there. And it's just, it baffles me that these exist. And every single person who has had like an insanely high thing, it's because they got it during college.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm going to go out on a stretch here and ask the question. Do you all agree with the position of the EFF? Because I agree with them fully.
Yeah.
Do you agree with what they're doing here?
I think they're going a little too far. So here's my take. It might be, I'm kidding. I like it.
And I think it's,
Jill?
really so needed here in the US and abroad.
Yeah.
There are already greater internet privacy laws in the EU and Canada, for instance, and the US really needs to catch up. I'm here in California, and we have very strong rules regarding a lot of these issues, but they could be better.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Shove your privacy in your face, Jill.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Jill.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that I could see the comments where people will say there are issues in the EU's, way they've addressed it. And I wouldn't disagree. There are certain issues with the EU's implementation of the law. But we don't have to adopt it word for word. We can create our own that fixes some of the issues that we're worried about here with some of the privacy and restrictions that are put in place in some of these laws. So the idea is, do we need privacy protection? Do we need a law and regulation out there broadly to regulate this as across the United States? And the answer, in my opinion, is a resounding yes. And if you don't agree with that, you probably wear Joybees or Crocs.
Yes.
Don't be dissing the Joybees. Come on, man.
Okay. Yeah.
But you also have probably not really considered this issue of what kind of thing that you'd be getting data collected on. Like the idea that you could just have notifications on your phone, and depending on what kind of phone you have, you could get everything be sent to collected by someone. That you could get data of like going to a doctor's appointment or something like that, and the tracking data would be given to some company or collected by some company, that in itself is violating an already existing regulation of HIPAA for details about medical information and stuff like that. So that stuff is already being done, but because they're technically doing it through your metadata of the tracking of the location and stuff like that, it's like, well, they're not really taking, but they are getting information, because if you go to multiple visits to different types of doctors, they can kind of figure out what you have and that sort of stuff. It's a problem in many ways, and I think it's really good that they're doing it. But also, I wanted to point out something that we've got news about recently. Now, we already knew a little bit, there was rumor that it was happening. But for those who have never heard of 23andMe, it is a company that does these DNA testing things. And they recently revealed that they were hacked and basically lost millions of people's data, and including DNA sample data. So it's a lot of information. And when it comes to some types of privacy, I feel like, credit card information getting taken, that's a bummer, because they could take your money, but only temporarily. And that you could kind of get it. But getting your DNA, that seems like a horrible, horrible thing for a company to lose. And I hope that 23andMe is punished for leaking all this information, because they should have like the highest level of crucial security that you could possibly imagine, because of the data they have. And they apparently didn't. And tens of millions of people, data is now out there. And it's not like you could change your DNA or anything. So privacy in so many different levels is very important, and hopefully this kind of thing is taken care of. And
so there's a new scam happening with these DNA sites where people are manipulating the DNA data in some way. I don't know how the whole scam works, but essentially they're able to pretend you're able to match with them essentially in like ancestry.com or one of these things as a family member. And then they start talking to you as like, oh, I'm your long lost cousin. Hey, I need money really bad eventually, as they get to know you or whatever. And
it's like the evolution of the Nigerian prince stuff.
Yes, exactly. But they really look like they're related to you, because they got this fake DNA or whatever that I guess is just close enough. I don't know how the whole scam works, but I was reading an article on it and I was like, man, the creativity, it never ends.
It makes me sad that people are that awful, but it also makes me kind of laugh and somewhat impressed that they put that much effort into being a horrible person.
Yeah.
You're impressed at how much effort they put into being horrible. That's great. All right, Jill, we need something a little lighter now. I think we all support what the EFF is going for. Not that anybody we ever vote for would do anything about it, because they're all bought and paid for by...
Yeah.
Hey, Captain Conspiracy, tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. Sorry. All right, go on, Jill.
We gotta take out some of that negative energy on something virtual, right?
There you go.
So do you find yourself dreaming of the day you can stand alone against hordes of endless monsters and fight for your very survival?
How did you know? Every single moment of every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if that describes you, we have a game to help you get your dream kickstarted and on its way. Our game is Striving for Light Survival. Survival is a standalone arena survival game, and it brings the exploration of procedurally generated skill trees to the arena survival roguelike genre. You get to unlock new characters, weapons, skills, and maps, slay hordes of monsters, and take on massive boss fights. It's a lot of fun. Doesn't it sound like fun? I enjoyed being able to get right into the gameplay quickly. You only have to select a melee weapon, select a ranged weapon, choose your skills, and choose a map, and you are off to killing insectoid monsters within a minute.
Yes, insectoid monsters too.
Yes.
What is that? Starship Troopers? That reminds me of Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Starship.
Such a good movie.
Oh,
Classic.
And this game, Survival, is a really fun bullet hell with driving synth music to help you slay hordes of creatures and persistent bosses. And it works great with the keyboard and WASD. You don't have to use a controller for it if you don't want to. And something that I really appreciate, that the developers included a middle mouse wheel zoom button so that visually impaired people like me can play the game.
That's nice. I
That
like
was
that.
really nice because lots of the games, Michael and Ryan, in this genre don't have a zoom button, and it is almost impossible for me to play them because the characters are
That
too
makes
small.
sense. Yeah.
So I was really, I could get right into this game and start playing. It was a lot of fun. And this, this would really be a fun game to get in preparation for your new OLED Steam Deck. And speaking of Steam Deck, I just talked about it as a great gift idea for Christmas or for the holidays. I recently got to play with Matthews, creator of Lutras's limited edition OLED Steam Deck. And the OLED screen is fantastic.
Nice.
I got to test the Talos principle on it, and it was just so beautiful.
How much better is it, Jill?
Oh, at least 3 times better.
Oh.
Just the brightness,
See, Michael.
and the clarity.
You need one.
We do not need one. The business is not going to buy it. Stop it.
Come on, Michael. Come on. Such a buzzkill.
Yes. And I'm sure Survival would actually look just as good on the OLED as the Talos principle does. And this game, it's only $4.99 on Steam. And there is also even a free demo that you can download that works on our Linux Penguins out of the box. So
it's a great gift idea too. Just a Steam gift card. It's so easy to give.
Absolutely. That's
super easy to give.
And in fact, Michael and Ryan,
any gamer is going to love that.
Michael and Ryan have both gifted me Steam gift cards for my birthday, and
just for hanging out with us. Not even just birthday.
Just for being.
Please
Jill.
hang out with us.
Yes,
a Steam gift card.
not just my birthday. It was just you guys are so sweet.
It's also sweet. Our spotlight, because it's about money.
Yeah,
taxes
it is.
and stuff.
It's about Denaro.
Yeah, taxes are amazing.
Or money.
Taxes are sweet.
Money or moolah. What used to say moolah in the 70s.
He's good.
Moolah. So tax season is right around the corner. And if you want to close out the current year and start the new year more financially organized, we have the app for that. And yes, it's called Denaro. Denaro is a financial tracking app for personal or small businesses that lets you budget, see where your money is spent, and track receipts and more. And it has a lot of really cool features.
It helps you with your money.
Yes, it does.
Why are both of you become mob bosses? Because Denaro?
I was doing Denaro.
Is it Robert Denaro? Is that the thing?
Yeah.
All right.
Moolah. And so some of the features include managing multiple accounts at one time with a familiar tab interface, which is really nice. And you can easily filter transactions by group, type, or date. And you can repeat transactions such as bills that occur every month. That's very helpful. And you can transfer money from one account to another. That's awesome. And you can export an account as a CSV file and import a CSV OFX or QIF file to bulk add transactions to an account. And it's available as a Flatpak at flathub.org or as a snap at snapcraft.io. Just go download it and install it.
I like the fact I can transfer money from other accounts to my own. So I can move money from Michael's account to mine.
That's not what it means, right?
Oh.
That's
I thought we were all going to just
it's
pull our
talking about
resources
having
together
your own
and share.
account
Darn.
and then doing it to another of your own account.
Yeah.
It's a little different, but
guess
I like
it
where
won't
you're going
be the
there.
Tip and trick then of how to make more
it's not
money.
It's not going to be a tip of the week now. But what is the tip of the week? We're going to be talking about the happy holidays of the gift giving. And I thought, what if the tip of the week was also a holiday cheer type of thing? So
you're not the Grinch.
This time. Not
this time. No. Okay. Yeah.
But so the tips are you can have a Christmas tree in your Bash. Well, using Bash in the terminal, which is really cool. And we'll have links to all of this stuff. This one's called Chris Bash Tree. And then you also what?
Martha Stewart.
You're like decorating your terminal. Like you're like the You're like the Linux version of Martha Stewart here. You got a little Christmas tree in your terminal.
Sure, why not? Okay.
That's cute.
So the next ingredient to this Christmas recipe is the snow in the terminal option with the snow machine. I like the name as well. And if you would like, you can get some extensions for GNOME that allow you to make it snow on your desktop. And some of them actually are pretty cool where they only have it snowing on things that you're not actively using. So you can have the effect, but it not get in the way. So that's pretty cool. And there also are plugins for Plasma, but I'm not sure if those are maintained yet. And I don't know if they're going to be moved to Plasma 6. So who knows? But I just want to let you know that all of these things will give you a very cheery holiday.
Yeah.
So go free and download all of the ones that you would like. Well, provided that you have stuff that works like GNOME or not. But if you do, then check those out. We'll have links to all of these in the show notes. And I just thought it was kind of fun because, you know, I don't get snow where I live ever. So it'd be nice to at least pretend
have snow
on my
on
desktop.
your desktop, right?
Yeah. So I can pretend to see snow sometimes.
Yeah, you know what's so ironic about this? Just 2 days ago, I enabled snow on my desktop because I love it.
I could
turn
see
it on
that,
every
Jill.
year, and they even have the latest release of the snow, the original snow for Bash. You can put Santa going across the desktop and stuff. It's really cool.
I
Nice.
just have a feeling like I've never been in Jill's house, but I have a feeling every room is full of happiness and fun. Like there's googly eyes stuck on everything.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
just happy pictures.
kinda
She said, "Oh
true.
yes." See, like because you can't be that happy unless you also have an environment that's that happy. Like it's just
And every room is themed in a different way. So like
plushies.
this is the Linux room where it has
Right.
all the plushies and stuff like that. And there's another room that's Star Trek themed.
Yes.
And then there's another room that has some. I just think that every room's going to have this awesome,
It just
joyful
makes you
experience
happy.
where you essentially, I feel like Jill's house is her own Disneyland.
It
you know?
is. Oh, I like
look
that.
at that. Yeah. Yeah. Dead on. Speaking of Jill and seeing Jill, we have some exciting news to share because we're all going to Scale 2024, which is scheduled for March 14th through the 17th. We get to see each other. You get to see us see each other. We'll all be there together if you join us on March 14th through the 17th at Pasadena Convention Center in
Be sure to bring your
Pasadena,
Joy Bees.
California.
Yes.
Don't bring your Joy Bees. Definitely do not come up to our booth with Crocs. I'm going to tell you right now, I'll keep you out of the event. And this is where you can meet the entire DL crew, plus have all these amazing vendors, presenters. We talked about EFF being there and things. You could talk to them, hang out, donate, get some cool merch. I mean, there's so many. Jill had to ship us a separate box home of all of the stuff
right.
we collected.
So what was great is I got a bunch. I got so much merch because after I did our booth, I went around to other booths and said like, "Hey, you got some merch?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure." And they gave it to me, and I got some shirts, and I got some swag, and I got some like plushy things, and just so much. And I had enough room for only about half of it in my bag. So
Yeah.
That's where Jill comes in.
So become prepared to get a lot of swag.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a separate bag just for all the swag. that you can bring
Literally
home with you.
a trash bag.
Yeah.
But not for trash, but you need a
but
bag.
don't confuse that
big.
with the actual trash bag.
You need a bag as big as a trash bag to hold all
So when I was a
merch.
kid, we were moving. My parents decided to quickly put all their clothes into trash bags. Now, being a young kid, I decided that I came downstairs and saw these trash bags sitting in the front door. My parents
You were
had
going to
left
be so nice and take care of the trash
did.
for them.
I took their clothes out to the
wow.
trash. The trash came before my parents got home, and all their clothes were thrown away. And that
Oh
is a
my
true
gosh.
story. So
Poor,
that happened. That was a legit thing.
Poor
Yeah.
Ryan. Yeah.
Children
Aw.
are so helpful.
Children are so helpful. The one time
'Cause
I'm
you
like,
were the
I'm going to
official-
proactively take out the trash.
Yeah,
The
you were-
one time
the
he
one
tried to be
time.
nice.
You were the official trash taker outer, and you were just doing your good deed.
Yeah.
You know.
That's right, Jill. Gosh, I wish you were parenting me.
Exactly.
They didn't quite see it that way, Jill. So, a big thank you to each and every one of you for supporting us by watching or listening to Destination Linux. However you do it, we love your faces. You can come join us in our Discord at tuxdigital.com/Discord. And if you want to watch the show live, yes, we record this live on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Central Time. You can jump
Correct.
in and join us with the other patrons there of Destination Linux.
And you can do that by becoming a patron at tuxdigital.com/membership. And watching live is just one of the awesome perks you get when you become a patron. You can also get access to unedited versions of the show, because if you're not here live to watch the live, you can still basically get all of that content as a patron in the unedited version. And for those that can watch live, you can join us in our patron-only post show that happens every week after the show. And you can get all of this by going to tuxdigital.com/membership to sign up. Plus, we have new benefits. I mean, they're relatively new. We started them like a month ago or so. But one of the things I'm really excited is that you can get special like priority with your feedback by sending us messages on Patreon. And we can do community feedback. We're not going to basically we're going to keep doing the community feedback no matter how you send it. But if you send it through that, we know you're a patron and you get a little bit higher priority to be on the show and get your question answered, or just tell Ryan you don't remember his name and all that sort of thing. And
that won't work. That was the last time that worked.
That's the last time. And also, we have ad-free versions of the show. So our episodes that are unedited are also ad-free. So if you want all of this, you can go to tuxdigital.com/membership to sign up. Plus, if you want to support the show in other ways, you can go to tuxdigital.com/store and pick up some awesome swag. We have t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, stickers, coasters, and just so much more, including hats like Ryan's wearing one, and Jill has the Das Geek mug, and so much more at tuxdigital.com/store.
Good looking mug, man. Good looking mug.
And make sure
Thank
to
you. I
check
did
out-
design it. I appreciate you.
It is a nice mug. Actually, that's one of the nicest mugs on our website. And make sure to check out all the amazing shows here on Tux Digital. That's right. We have an entire network of shows to fill your entire week of geeky goodness, especially over the holidays. Make sure to take advantage of this. And check out This Week in Linux for your source for Linux Weekly GNUs, which is a weekly video podcast that Michael hosts, our very own Michael hosts, that takes you through all the happenings of Linux and open source each and every week. And everyone head to tuxdigital.com and subscribe to all our great shows. And don't forget to leave a rating on your favorite app so others can discover the power of open source and keep those penguins marching in the full Monty of Linux and open source awesome sauce.
Everybody have a great week. And remember to watch This Week in Linux. You can subscribe to the podcast. Oh, that's not the thing we say.
It's not, no, yeah.
Remember that the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
Thanks, everyone.
Yay.
See you next week.
week.